Well, Brodie is back. The rookies show their speed in the wet, and we get to answer. Well, we'll at least discuss what little parity talk there's been, despite being some pretty big changes. So, welcome to the Valve Bounce. As I said, Brodie's back. The champ is back. He's here.
He is.
How about that?
It's good to have him back, although he was nowhere, but it was good to have him back.
Spot on there.
No, welcome back, Damo. It's been probably a little bit between drinks. We've both had a few things on, so...
It's been a busy time,
it's good.
We'll get there.
We will, and it's good to get back into it anyway, and we had a pretty good round overall at Taupo. Taupo.
I don't know. Well, we've both got some connection to New Zealand, so someone somewhere is going to hate us for that. Taupo.
Yep, no, that's it.
Great event. Massive. Had really good track to town.
Yes.
Was awesome.
Yep.
The cops were really good in how they handled that.
I think so. Like, shout out to James Courtney, who destroyed everything.
Yeah.
Great burnouts. And I think, honestly, I actually think it's a really good idea. I think it's something that Supercars probably need to do a little bit more of. Whether they should do it every round, I don't think is really... But for New Zealand, maybe Sandown, and for Bathurst, I think that could become a thing.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to kind of do it in certain rounds, as you say. You do it every round, it's going to lose its flavour. But I think some of the big ones, especially a regional, so when you start talking about maybe a Townsville, some of those where... Though the people, and I guess we'll touch on the attendance, so many people turn out to those events because it's like a big thing in their town.
Yep.
And despite the pouring rain on the Saturday, absolute full racetrack, and I think it was 60-something thousand.
67,000.
Which is amazing.
It's huge for a very small place. Taupo's not big. And the event, like yourself, the actual venue can't hold heaps and heaps of spectators. So, great turnout by the New Zealand people, like always. They always get behind it, and they were treated to something quite special on the streets. So
they were
quite cool.
But so let's touch on. So Brodie returned. How did you feel about the announcement and subsequent leaks by, I think, Simon Chapman, but Wide World of Sport, who just seems to keep on dropping them bombs?
Yeah, because he's not in the direct media or Supercars, he can drop those bombs, can't he?
I wonder who might be feeding him stuff like that.
No idea.
Do you think anyone?
No one's feeding him anything.
Okay.
Perfectly finding it perfectly on himself. Didn't really English very well there. But yes, dropping some bombs for sure. And Brodie himself, didn't Larko make that awkward at the start?
Mate.
Look, we're not going to talk about the big thing, the elephant in the room.
It's like, man, you could have done it in so many other ways, but that was possibly the worst, other than putting him on the spot and saying, talk about it, mate.
Yeah, that's right.
That was terrible. But what was very interesting was someone in the Supercars broadcast managed to slip Brodie in to announce the Boost Mobile Pole Position Award.
Oh,
so,
Peter, you got a shout out, mate. With
all the stuff going on in the background there, that was very good, because I'm sure someone in Erebus wasn't happy about that. But
of course. Like, there's a lot playing out, obviously, behind the scenes that hardly anybody knows about. But definitely, it wasn't... It was cold in Taupo, but it was freezing in that garage.
It was ice cold.
Ice cold.
Yeah, nice.
That's cool. All right, so I suppose keeping on the Kiwi front, mate.
Yes.
Heimgartner.
Yeah,
how good. Weekend. Great weekend.
I mean, well, maybe let's partition Saturday.
Yeah.
We'll say Saturday was brilliant.
It was?
Really good. Wasn't quite as strong on the Sunday.
Still pretty strong. He almost got that trophy overall.
He did. But I was really hoping for like a real massive win. BJR, the Jason Richards Award.
Yeah,
I just thought it could have been absolute, perfect champagne Supercars, but unfortunately didn't.
It really could have, but I'm kind of glad it didn't, because it meant that Anton won that award, and that's the first thing Ford's won all year.
And it's the first time I think DJR this year have had any sort of positives to talk about.
That's exactly this weekend as a whole was pretty positive.
Yeah.
I thought. The Fords were relatively competitive. We had DJR Resurgence. We had Heimgartner at the front. For all the Kiwi, like, pretty good.
Yeah. I think on home soil, in front of the crowd, they're like absolutely just reward. And he as always, I guess these drivers they're no chumps, even the ones at the back. But Heimgartner just really drove that to perfection.
Yeah, he certainly did. And I quite enjoyed watching him do it as well.
Yes, it was a good win for everyone. Well, speaking of, let's start talking about some of the challenges that were faced. Hey.
Oh yeah. What challenges?
WAU.
Who?
Yeah, well,
I'm disowning you.
he's bailed on them already.
Bastards.
So I guess Chaz in the prior round made some mistakes which cost him some good results, better results. We've seen all year he's had great pace.
Yep.
WAU and the pit stops, so the wheel not seating right, it was an absolute disaster. They had other challenges in terms of their strategy calls for Chaz.
Yep.
Give us your take. What do you think?
Missed opportunity because Triple Eight on that first race weren't really anywhere. Brown was backwards. Feeney was who?
Disappeared.
He couldn't find his radar after the thunderstorm. So they were really down and out, and it was a perfect and prime opportunity for WAU to actually make an impact. And Chaz was doing that, and he did everything right. Unfortunately, the 1%ers that the team seem to be missing at the moment need to be cleaned up.
Yeah, and it's especially disappointing because overall, when we can move on to some of the rookie discussion, but Wood just had an absolutely sensational weekend.
He did,
and although he wasn't really directly impacted by some of those things, it seemed to all fall on Chaz's side.
Yeah, it did.
It could have been. You just think about for the whole team, the team's championship. It could have just been an absolute. You could have picked the cherry and just cemented yourself up the top in its both teams and driver championship.
Yeah.
And it was missed.
Yeah, I agree. And look, I mean, they're going to have opportunity to come back up and win races. They're definitely showing that they're hitting every single racetrack they've gone to so far with speed.
Yep.
That's awesome, right?
Yeah.
That's an absolute bonus because last year didn't happen.
No.
So I'm really looking forward to what's going to unfold for them. But at the same time, it's so frustrating when we've had so many. Like, we should have been celebrating that Mustangs won like 3 or 4 races so far. And yet here we are with a Camaro domination, and it's not. And this time, it's not because of parity.
No. Well, yeah, and obviously we'll touch on that. But let's talk about that because. If Cam Waters didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. Now, we've used that in the past. Many years ago, it applied to Mark Webber in F1. We've used it for other drivers, but legitimately, full-on racing incident. 2 front cars got a bad start. Slade got an absolute pearler.
Yep, he did.
He was just going to keep charging through, as he should, and the two just squashed together. And of all that, Cam ends up just smashed up.
Yeah.
Now, still showed he had great speed afterwards, but geez, I mean, you just couldn't. Like, he must be going right. I'm going to Kansas. I'm NASCAR. I'm just NASCAR now. NASCAR. I don't give a shit.
Look, we used to race online, and one of the guys that we used to race against used to refer to it the triangle of death as you go towards a corner. But that was definitely a triangle of death. You just had Brown and Waters doing this, and Slade going through the middle, and it was always going to end in death.
Especially he had such a great start. It was like 10, 20 kph faster than them, so he was blind. He was just coming through.
Yeah. And look, they probably should have realised that he was, but
spatial awareness. Did we use that last time?
Look, it's the start of a race. It's chaotic, right? It's like Daniel Ricciardo, at Japan, or just those types of things where you just everyone is everywhere, so you can't watch everything, and then these things tend to happen. So it's just a racing incident. It sucks for Slade, and it sucked for Waters. Yeah, but you to try and limit those things as much as possible.
And that's it, and that's why you end up with with Triple Eight just going so well. They just pick it up and just run with it.
Yep.
Even after one bad day, they still carry on for the whole weekend where they go, right, we're fixing this, and they end up coming back. So that's what you need to do.
Yeah, but on the contrary, like
Yes.
When you look at Chaz's start on that day from 8th, I think he was about 4th or 3rd by the time they came around to 1.
Yeah.
So that was a great start.
Certainly had some motivation, I feel.
A little bit. No, very good. All right, so probably need to talk about the young guys.
Yeah.
So
what an absolute cracking weekend, and nothing like a bit of rain to really balance out and show the skill level of the drivers in the field.
Yep.
But let's touch on some of the actual results, right? So quality for race 7, Wood was P5.
Yep.
Love was P20. Evans was P17.
Yep.
Especially that Love and Evans, because then the actual race finished for them. Wood got 1 place better, so he ended up P4. Evans got all the way to P10, which is awesome.
That's amazing.
And Love managed to get up to P15, which is a great effort, like really good turnaround for him.
They're really young, and Wood, I think, is in the right team to be closer to the front.
Yeah,
let's just say.
Agree.
So for Evans to get P10 in that race, I think, cracking job. And Love to come home P15, also cracking job, because like you see, Courtney is not particularly firing at the moment, or if he is firing, the car's not right, one of the two. So again, just all the rookies in the wet driving superbly. And although not a rookie, I'll just throw in a Stanaway going, because he drove exceptional on that day as well.
He's just like this little quiet achiever. He's actually going really well in the championship because he's just backing up solid performances,
just banking the points.
So he's doing really well. But yeah, it must have been great for Evans at his home track.
Oh man, that'd be cool.
Home track, home event.
I was going to say Grand Prix. I'm like, that's not right.
I was stumbling. We're out of practice.
We are.
But then if you look at like the quali and results for race 8, Wood was P10. Had the bit of a mishap in the shootout, was actually higher than that.
Yep.
Evans qualified P21 and Love P23. Now, Love didn't get to advance in the dry, but Evans still managed to get up to P14,
which I think
and Wood remained in P10. So, absolute bravo, really good round for the rookies. It just shows that the opportunity sometimes just comes and you've got to seize it, and they've just been able to chip away. So, good on them.
And on a quiet note about Wood, because he did throw it off the road in that shootout lap on the Sunday, but I'm glad to see that.
Yeah.
I'd rather see him trying and come off than, playing the safe bet all the time. So, a really good weekend for the rookies. Look forward to seeing what they bring to the next events.
Yeah, and you really enjoyed Woody's barefoot interview.
I had barefoot investor interview.
What was going on there?
I don't know. I saw it after the fact, but Woody just standing there having an interview. I think it was with Greg Murphy, and just standing there barefoot in a cold environment. I don't know what is with that, but
definitely a local.
Definitely a local.
But also, if you haven't had the opportunity, have a look at the Supercars YouTube site. They did a road to Taupo for the Kiwi drivers,
which
was
cool.
actually really good. I thought it was really well put together and good insight.
Credit to Supercars for the start of this year. A lot of the media stuff has been a lot better, so thumbs up, guys. I can't think of the guy's name that's come back.
Simon Prendergast.
Is that the guy? Yeah. So, Simon, well done, because your ideas and what you're bringing, top notch.
Yeah, it was good.
Can't complain at all.
Just the results sometimes might need to be. Saw one slide and I was like,
not quite.
That's not the order they finished.
I saw Stanaway's name pop up against somebody else at some point, but those
they'll get there.
Little things. But overall, I thought the coverage is getting better, and oh my god, it's so much better without Scaife being in every single bloody session.
Yes. Right. So now we're going to talk about your favourite discussion.
My favourite discussion.
Yeah, because it's about Triple Eight and the Red Bull team, which is not your favourite.
No, definitely not.
But when Will Brown shows a bit of dominance, inserts it over Feeney, you're a happy boy.
That was a great race. Like, for an all-out Triple Eight battle, that was a great race.
Yeah.
Watching Brown just take chunks, love it.
Well, it showed some really good racecraft. They didn't really. I think there was some small contact, but nothing. Nothing that the team
major.
would be worried about. But really drove I guess, the tyres off and just got around Feeney and, asserting his dominance in that team. And what I was surprised is that so many of the kind of media and the pundits and that found this surprising.
Yeah.
When I know, like, you're not really a fan of Feeney, so it's a bit biased, but even I said that Will was going to be in a really solid team where he can focus on his driving. He's going to be strong.
Be quick. Yeah. I mean, he's won so many little, like, up-and-coming championships. He's not a weak driver.
No.
You don't win them by chance.
Yeah.
So if you get into an environment like Triple Eight is, and this is where my Feeney side sort of gets a little bit, like, I know I go in on him a little bit, but he is in the best environment.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, he hasn't delivered to the level that he should and for the amount of hype that is given to him. So,
getting hot in here.
When you have someone like Will Brown turn up and just start winning, I think it shows that Feeney still has a lot of progress to make. And I'm not saying that he can't make that progress.
It's still early.
I'm just saying that right at this given point, he's overhyped for what he has really achieved. And I love seeing what Will Brown's doing because I think he is showing exactly what he's learnt from last year.
Yeah, all the mistakes, all the things that happened last year, he's just basically learned from them, taken on board, and he's now executing against that. And
100%.
And you're right. I think that, look, Brodie is probably unloved by you in particular, but more so because it's a bit like the Lando Norris thing. That there's so much hype that's pushed through all the media and commentary.
And by Brodie, he means Brock.
Oh,
that's right.
Shit. Sorry, Brodie. You're not overhyped. You're the man.
You're the man.
We love you, Bush. That Brock, he's overhyped by the media.
Yeah.
That's the same thing as I was saying with Lando. Is that great drivers, but they get such a push that it's just like, come on, give it a rest. Like just let them get to the point where their success talks for themselves as opposed to
you talking them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And look, to be fair to, just a quick on Lando, driving exceptional this year. So, same thing, right? When they start delivering, 100% I'm going to give them the credit. But the overhyping is just a little bit, it gets a bit boring.
It's hard to palate.
Yeah.
Only palate.
Yeah, it's not palatable. That's a good word.
Yes. Too fancy for me. Okay. Well, I guess now let's answer or talk about the question about where is all the parity discussion, right?
What parity discussion?
Well, exactly.
Never occurred.
So isn't it funny how when there was absolute clear parity issues, despite what all the was it the inbreds of Supercars or whatever those Facebook pages are? Those people talking about, it's going to get better and they're going to be smarter. Like, when there's actual parity, no one's whinging, despite the fact on the weekend there were design changes to try and help their Ford engine with the oil pump or whatever, right? So that was done. And they were running different maps.
Yeah.
And
both cars.
I didn't hear about it. Mind you, being flat stick with with work and things like that, but I didn't hear a toot about it until right before the event, and then during the event it was mentioned only a couple of times.
Yep.
So it's been so quiet, and yet it's not causing a stir. So it's just amazing how well they've done this now.
Yeah.
Where they actually put the effort in at the start, wind tunnels, and they've still got to do the dyno testing, but doing this mapping and it's not causing an issue on track.
And that's the thing, right? So kudos to DJR, their swing on these motors to get the Fords from zero to hero to be competitive.
Yep.
Is astonishing, honestly. So it shows that they know what they're doing now, and I think it's been the right choice.
Yep.
Look, it will be quiet, and people forget, right? People don't make noise unless there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Right? If there is no noise, guess what? You're doing something right.
Yeah.
So, and again, we should commend them.
Yeah.
Because they're doing the right thing. And it's so much better. A weekend of racing without that discussion is so much better.
Yeah.
So much better.
And also, we have to say, No disrespect to the person that left, but Tim Edwards has really just shaken it up. Now, some of that stuff was already planned, but the way he's managed it, like we haven't heard boo from him. No. He's not making a scene about it, and yet they're getting on and just making those decisions and doing those testing, trialling the mapping. It's just working. So,
literally
it's a massive win.
Transparent at the start, and then being quiet and doing the things that they need to do.
Correct.
Best way to do it. Best way. Love it.
Righto. All right. That pretty much wraps up this edition that we've got. Now, apologies. We've both been very busy with stuff, and we're trying to learn how to manage this whole content creation alongside full-time job and full-time lives. So, we will try and get better. We're trying to figure out how we can make sure we can get it more consistent.
Yes.
Got some great ideas and some things that we're hopefully going to come to fruition pretty shortly.
Yep.
So, stay tuned, really. Yeah, stay tuned. Follow us at The Valve Bounce on all socials. We'll be putting more stuff up. But thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the subscribers. And
thanks for all the support and for sticking with us too when we are a little bit slow off the mark.
So we're a bit new.
We're a bit fresh.
Yes, but thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.
Have a good one, guys.
See ya.